Women are raped in war zones, yet the rapists are amongst the peacekeepers. United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 recognizes the inordinate impact of war on women, and the pivotal role women should and do play in the conflict management, conflict resolution, and sustainable peace. However, the truth is that this resolution has been barely implemented by any UN member. Statistics show that women have in fact been absent from peace negotiations and have therefore been ignored in the signing of the peace treaties. How is it possible to ignore the voice of those who are raped in war zones, peace zones, and refugee camps? The answer is clear. Men are those who create and control the wars, and therefore decide when and with what conditions to end them. It has been reported that in some places the United Nations peacekeepers were amongst the rapists. According to Human Rights Watch, at least 8 women and girls were raped and sexually exploited in the Central African Republic between October and December 2015. The absence of women from peace negotiations and decision-making processes has also impacted the situation of women refugees. But what is also vital is the failure of international law in supporting women refugees. For example, lack of legal support plays an important role in current crises. Gender-neutral terminology adopted by the 1951 Convention relating to the status of refugees contributed to the historical failure in protection of women refugees. A refugee, defined by the Convention, is any person with a well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, and membership of a particular group or political opinion. This definition ignores the fact that persecution experienced by women often differs from that experienced by men. In addition to the gender inequality that exists in almost all societies, women are subjected to FGM, sex trafficking, forced marriage, domestic violence, and a forced adherence to hijab and religious dress codes. Moreover, women are the victims of mass rape used as a weapon of war. However, gender-related persecution does not solely refer to the persecution on the basis of biological identity as a female. It is far more complicated. Being a woman within a certain society or culture requires adherence to a range of social norms. Failure or refusal to comply with those social norms may cause a female individual to be persecuted. Therefore, women may face persecution even during peace, when no war, in its traditional definition, is taking place. 80% of refugees and displaced persons worldwide are women and children. Women and girl refugees face violence, assault, exploitation, and sexual harassment at every stage of their journey. It is reported that women and girl refugees feel threatened and unsafe during their journey. Many reported that in almost all of the countries they pass through, they experience physical abuse and financial exploitation, being groped or pressured to have sex by smugglers, security staff, or other refugees. To remedy the failure of the 1951 Convention, the UN, its members, and its related agencies have adopted guidelines to address particular challenges faced by women refugees. In May 2002, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees published guidelines on both social groups and gender claims. Moreover, the UNHCR issued guidelines in 2006 relating to the treatment of trafficking victims that explicitly recognize gender as an important factor in construing asylum claims for that group. In July 2010, the Council of Europe recognized the importance of incorporating the nuances gender-based violence into asylum determination and procedure, to include gender perspectives into substantive and procedural aspects of the refugee determination process. Some countries, including Canada, the United States, Australia, the United Kingdom, and Sweden, have issued guidelines for gender claims. Despite all the efforts, peace negotiations and conflict resolutions are still being dealt with in a world that is made, occupied, and ruled by men. The changing nature of warfare, the great number of refugees and displaced persons, and our understanding of the root causes of these crises make it essential to recognize the vital role women play in addressing the women refugee crisis. Of course, this recognition is the first step. More attention needs to be paid to explore the best possible ways to empower those women that carry, with themselves, a history of oppression and ignorance. The main threat for refugee women resided in the West is to be constructed of cultural others.
مش خوف، رعب. حياة رعب عشت بالخيمة، ولا كل الناس نايمة إلا أني ما أقدر أنام، لأذان الفجر أضل.
Those who are different, inferior, and therefore in need of being taken care of.
وكثير بنات خطفون وشغلوهن، 3 بمخيمنا انخطفوا واجن غير رجعهم بمخيمنا. الشباب الأرادنة بيجوا بيتحرشوا بالسوريات من 7 ل6 سنين، بدهم يخطفوهن ويطلعوهن لبرا، فحتى الطفل القد هاي عم بتحرشوها.
This, in fact, positions refugee women in a powerless situation. What is needed is to increase the visibility of women's leadership in the citizen-led solidarity movement, highlight the human experience of living with trauma and its impact on women who are primary caretakers to raise compassion for refugees, increase attention to and knowledge of the impacts of displacement on women, including the increased risks they face such as sexual violence, trafficking, and their needs in terms of hygiene, pre- and postnatal care, provide support for refugee women to be equipped with knowledge and skills to deal with their current situation, including areas related to gender-based violence, raise awareness of the root causes of the refugee crisis, rapid militarization of the Middle East region, and calling upon world leaders to use diplomacy to initiate a peace process inclusive of women's nonviolent solutions to resolve conflict in Syria and in the region. Propose ways to response from short-term to long-term conflict resolution. None of these can be done without women and refugee women, including women in Syria. They have strongly sent their message to the policymakers. Nothing about us without us.